Welcome back, everyone. My name is John Fedro with mobilehomeinvesting.net, your source for all things mobile home investing related. In this video, we're going to talk about preparing before, during, and after for natural disasters. For a mobile home, for manufactured homes, if you're investing, you're going to see some natural disasters. Unfortunately, we're talking floods, we're talking tornadoes, fires, hail, hurricanes. In this video, I want you to be prepared before the storm happens, during the storm, after the storm, like immediately after the storm, days after, weeks after, months after. Let's talk about the differences and what changes. Recently, Hurricane Ian's been in the news and has just devastated parts of Florida. Mobile homes are naturally flood resistant because usually they're 2, 3, 4 feet above the ground on blocks or piers. But that doesn't matter if the flood comes to be 6 feet high or 12 feet high. There's pictures of people kayaking around their mobile homes, or entire mobile homes just pushed to the side of a mobile home park as a wall of water just pushed everything. I mean, how terrifying must that have been? And people literally paid with their lives for one reason or another. And you have also fires that just take out huge swaths of land and homes and mobile home parks, and tornadoes that seem to just like cut paths through mobile home parks and also other communities as well. We're going to talk about that. Even hail. Hail can happen around the country, and it causes issues that we should talk about. So that's what we're going to talk about on today's video. If you haven't done it before, please like, please subscribe if you're new here. And let's talk about before the storm happens. So you know there's a storm coming. Consider purchasing insurance. Now, if there's an active storm brewing somewhere off the coast, then insurance companies don't like to write new policies. If there's an active hurricane, tornado, something happening, insurance companies say, well, we're not going to write anybody new, but let's wait for the storm to pass. Then we'll start, having new people have insurance. So you have to have insurance before the storm happens. And if you are renting a property out, you will be most likely to want to have property insurance. And if you are selling the home on payments, you can require your tenant buyer to purchase homeowner's insurance to protect the home and to protect your note. If something happens to that home and you're selling it on payments, those payments are going to stop if the home is destroyed. So there are definitely reasons that insurance exists. And for a mobile home in a park, few $100s, maybe $1,000 or more if we're talking a really nice one. But it's usually relatively affordable. Call to check in. Call your tenant buyers. Call your renters ahead of time to make sure that they're prepared. They have food stocked up. They have water stocked up. Or if they should be evacuating, maybe even help them evacuate. If this is a senior type of buyer or renter, we're dealing with people. We should want to help people. Get in your car, help those people. If they don't have anyone else, help them. Also call, like I said, if they should be evacuating, and then also call them if they have the means and the ability to board up their home. If they're buying the home from you on payments, they should protect that asset. If there's a hurricane or a storm coming, the wind can cause debris to fly around the park, to move from one mobile home to crash into another mobile home. So make sure that the exterior debris or any like lawn furniture is removed. Board up the windows. Now, if it's your property and it's a rental, if there's a hurricane or tornado coming, you may want to board up the windows. Have a handyman board up the windows, fill the bathtub so that the tenants can have water if they need it. But turn off the main water coming into the home in case something happens. We don't want water spraying anywhere. And vacate, like I said a couple times. If it's just too dangerous, get out of there. During a storm, it's easy. Take cover, get out of the path of the destruction, pray, and that's pretty much it. Wait for the storm to pass. Immediately after the storm, call to confirm that your residents are safe. These are people. We want to make sure everyone is safe. That's priority number one. Secondly, call or visit to get a damage report on your properties, whether you own them, whether they're rent-to-owns and you've sold them on payments. Check on your properties. Check in with all of the park managers as well to inquire about being useful in the park. Some of these parks are going to have more damage than others. Here's how we can potentially help. We can tell the park manager, recommend mobile home handymen. We can recommend mobile home movers or mobile home levelers. If some of these homes were knocked off their foundations or moved, they need to be removed, they need to be leveled, or help clearing debris. from parks. If you're already investing there, you have a couple homes within a community, you can help. You can say, hey, what can I do? Let me pull up my sleeves. Let me try to help. That goodwill will go farther than you think many times. Or maybe you're thinking, wow, that would go far, and it will. To actually think of others and not just think about like the bottom line. I mean, people here are hurting, people need help. And so we can take a day or two to, give back and help, or at least ask to help in some of these parks that we're in. With these managers, that will go a very long way. Understand your responsibility. We're going to talk about this right now. Understanding your responsibilities if damages do occur. Hopefully no damages ever occur to your property, but if they do, let's talk about it. If it's damages, can you file an insurance claim? Do you have insurance? If you're renting the home, then you got to fix it. If you're renting and you're the landlord, then the responsibility falls on you. Now, if you're selling this home on payments, you've sold the home with payments, it's a rent-to-own situation, then oftentimes, and with my paperwork, the buyer is the one responsible for all or most of the repairs, if possible. And I say if possible because sometimes the buyer won't have the money. I mean, we're talking, if a brand new roof has to be put on the home, plus some interior fixes, you could be talking $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 or more. So, the buyer may not be able to afford that. Or if there was a huge fire that ripped across this area, you can't get electricity out there. There's no infrastructure, there's no utilities, there's not even really people to work. If it isn't completely devastated, then you can split costs with your buyer. If there's maybe the water heater went out or the roof, a small limb went through the roof and it's going to cost $3,000 to fix. You don't want a water problem for the future. If this is a water issue, water's coming into the home and your tenant buyer can't afford to fix it, split the costs with them or lend them the money. Hey, I'll split the costs with you 50-50 and you can go ahead and put that amount of money on the back end or start paying me monthly. If the repair is $3,000 and you pay for $1,500 or $3,000, well, that tenant buyer needs to start paying you back immediately the next month so that they pay you off in 10, 15 months. And that allows them to still remain in their home, still pay you, live there. And that's what we want to try to do. We want to try to help people so that they can finish paying us off as mobile home investors, especially if we're selling on payments. We want to do right by people. We want to help people out, especially if they're meeting you more than halfway. This is their home. They're fighting for it. They're making repairs. But you can't get blood from a stone. So if people legitimately don't have the money, you either figure out a way to help them, or they vacate, which is that last option right there. They either make the fixes themselves or they vacate. Or maybe they sell the home if they're able to resell it. But those are the issues if it's damaged. Now, if it's destroyed, the home is completely destroyed, can you still file an insurance claim? If it's a rental situation, well, you've lost all the profit because the home is gone. The renter loses their stuff inside, all their stuff is gone. And if it's a rent-to-own situation, you lose future payments, the buyer loses the home, the buyer loses the equity that they built up. Possibly you can take that buyer, if it was a good payment buyer and their home got destroyed, you can move them from this home over to another vacant home that you have and credit them some amount of money going into this new home as well. But those are the responsibilities. And I want you to know that before the storm happens. Days after the storm, not immediately after the storm, but days after the storm, almost a week or a little bit over a week, you will see that nearby mobile home prices, sale prices, and mobile home rental prices will usually shoot up. That's because if there was a big park and all those homes got destroyed, now all those people have to find somewhere new to live. So they're buying the homes, which means there's less of other mobile homes on the market. Usually those lower end homes, there's less lower end mobile homes on the market. Less homes are available, but there are still some without a doubt. So we should still be investing. Yes, demand is higher because you have all those new people that are now displaced and they're looking for new properties. They have to buy something, they have to rent something. So demand is higher. Supply will be lower because those people, some of them will buy. Some of them will leave the area, some will rent, and some will buy other mobile homes. And when you go to resell, your exit price is going to be higher Demand is high, supply is low. That means that the price goes up. But without a doubt, keep investing, keep offering help. There will continue to be sellers that need to sell for a variety of reasons, including, unfortunately, natural disasters. Now, weeks after the storm, some mobile home owners may have received insurance checks. It may take longer than a few weeks, but after a few weeks, some owners have started to receive insurance checks and they don't want to fix up their mobile home. They say, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to fix up the home or the land. I'm just going to sell it. I want to get out. I want to take my money from the insurance and just sell my property for whatever I can get and just bail. I'm not even living here. My home's destroyed after all. So what you can do is start to advertise in all of these mobile home dense locations, mobile homes in parks, definitely mobile homes on private land. We should be advertising them thoroughly. Investors can really help some of these mobile home sellers. Let's go a little farther to say months after a storm. What happens? What are we seeing? Let's talk about this because there's a few different scenarios. In populations where there's less than 10,000 people, if the whole community was just wiped out, that community may never come back. You know, if it's a smaller community or if it's in a smaller town, like in the middle of nowhere, then that owner that owns that piece of property, they may say, well, you know, I'm not going to put $200,000 or $300,000 of new homes in here when I got a population of I'm in a small little dinky town. So some parks never go back. But if you're in a major metro, then yes, the park will remain a park. It will fill back up. Not even a question. It will definitely do that. So when I've seen with tornadoes, flood, hail, including hurricanes as well, with the flood and hurricanes, it's quicker that the homes are replaced. The homes are gone, they're destroyed, they're pulled out, and they're replaced. With hail, and usually the hail doesn't even damage them, they just fix the outsides. Floods, but the homes are replaced quicker. Tornadoes, the homes are replaced quicker. And you'll see that many of these brand new homes, it leads to displaced previous homeowners. If you have an entire mobile home park, like in the southern part of Florida, that was just wiped out recently, all of those people have been in homes from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. So now all of those homes are gone. That park is going to be filled up now with brand new properties. They're not going to get 1970s or 80s homes in there. They're going to get brand new expensive manufactured homes. So those newer manufactured homes, they're going to create like a park that of people that can afford more affluent type of buyers. And then slower to rebuild is major fires. For one reason or another, just the utilities going to the area. Yeah, I mean, if you can't get utilities out to a home site, why would you rebuild? Why would you put a brand new home there if your neighbors, you know, nobody can get power, nobody can get water? If that takes too long, then, so after major fires, it's slower to rebuild. The park can be empty for a year or more, but usually after floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, the park will be, within a matter of months, it'll be filled back up. I hope that all of this made sense. If you have any mobile home related questions, never hesitate to email me directly at john@mobilehomeinvesting.net. Again, it's john@mobilehomeinvesting.net. Invest safe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.